Welcome to the Caucus meeting of the Florence City Council. The first item is discussion from Todd Morgan about a resolution R24034A of the Boone County Planning Commission. Not on a caucus. Recommending approval with conditions for request of SEVA at Merchant Square 2 LLC, the applicant for Kemba Credit Union, the owner for a zoning map amendment from a Commercial 2 Plan Development Houston-Donaldson Study Corridor to Office 2 Plan Development Houston-Donaldson Study Corridor for an approximate 5.3 acre site area located at 5935 and 5945 Merchant Street, Florence, Kentucky. Todd?
Thank you, Mayor. On screen, I have a site vicinity map. Of course, we're looking at an approximate 5.3 acre site fronting on Merchant Street. It includes the Kemba Credit Union lot and the vacant lot to the west. They want to rezone this from Commercial 2 Plan Development Houston-Donaldson Study Overlay to Office 2 Plan Development Houston-Donaldson Study Overlay to allow a hotel on the vacant lot. Kemba Credit Union lot is being included in its request to create an O2 zone. You need a minimum of 5 acres to create the district. The zone change is also needed because the current C2 zone only allows 15,000 square feet of building per acre of land and has a 50-foot height limitation. The O2 zone allows 30,000 square feet of building per acre of land and has a 70-foot height limit. So without the O2 zone, this hotel development could not occur. Also, with this request, the hotel lot would be enlarged to 2.24 acres, so a net increase of about 0.2 of an acre. Of course, that would be subtracted from the Kemba Credit Union lot. If the zone change is approved, the maximum intensity that would be allowed would be 67,200 square feet of building. And the proposed Live Smart Studio by Hilton is 62,000 square feet. It's 56 feet tall, which is 4 stories, and it contains 99 guest rooms. Little site history: back in 1988, there was a zone change for the entire area around Walmart. It's normally referred to by the lawsuit settlement because there was a lawsuit settlement as part of that. So these building elevations were required for all outlots. It requires all buildings to be full height masonry veneer. If there is exposed roofing, it's supposed to be standing seam metal roofing. Of course, the hotel does not have that roofing. This is the color palette that was approved back in 1988, so you will see all the buildings have one of these red or brown colors. Any trim colors are supposed to be a very muted color. If there is exposed roofing, it's supposed to be in this color family, so standing seam metal roofing. As far as the concept plan that was submitted for this request, again, it's a 62,000 square foot hotel. Up to 60 feet tall. Again, it's actually 56 feet tall. There's 99 guest rooms. There's an indoor pool. There's a rear patio in the back of the building, of course. Access is provided from 2 curb cuts on Merchants, which you see here and here. There is a sidewalk connection that leads you to the building. This dark triangle right here is the area that would be taken from the credit union lot and applied to the hotel lot. I also pointed out back here there is a 40-foot buffer yard required to the rear up against the residential area. These are the building elevations that were submitted and were approved by the Planning Commission. It shows 3 different shades of brick. It also shows a little bit of fiber cement siding, which is normally referred to as hardy plank siding. So that is the front and the side from Parts Plus. That's Kemba Credit Union side and the rear. So again, 3 shades of brick and a little bit of fiber cement siding. These are the actual bricks. So this was the option 1 bricks and the option 2. They're very close. The Planning and Zoning Committee was fine with either option. As far as the zoning of the area, you can see it's an actual mix, but the subject site is zoned Commercial 2 Plan Development. Again, it would be rezoned to Office 2 Plan Development, which is the same as Comfort Suites and the Holiday Inn. So the zoning is not uncommon in this area. You can see the area to the rear is zoned suburban residential 1, that's single-family housing off of Greenview Road. As far as the topography, you can see ground elevation is about 870 here, and it falls towards the rear. There is a low spot on the adjoining houses to the rear, about 840 feet above sea level. And then it pops back up at Greenview Road. Aerial of the site shows the vacant lot. There is a good tree line that will not be disturbed or barely disturbed, so that tree line will remain in place. One of the Planning Commission conditions would require evergreen plantings as well. Also would like to point out on that concept plan, you're not going to see any parking to the rear of the site, which would stop headlight glare from going through. As far as pictures, subject site, once again, the only change that's proposed at Kemba is the lot size being reduced. It would stay as is. This is the vacant lot where the hotel, and again, you can see that tree line. And again, there would be evergreen plantings that would go in front of that tree line to help during the fall and winter months. A view looking northeast, other four-story hotels. Of course, you can see Comfort Suites, and if you look over here, that's the Holiday Inn Express. Both of those are 4 stories. View towards Kentucky 18 from the subject site. Showed you this picture. This is the residential area off of Greenview Road, and the next slide I'm going to show you is a cross-section that goes through this house, this structure here, and goes up to the hotel. So that is looking at that. So this is Greenview Road, that closest house. Ground elevation there is about 876 above sea level. You can see the hotel's at 879, so they're pretty close. This is that drop in topography that I was talking about behind the hotel. It's 857 feet, so about 21.5-foot difference. That's that existing tree line. There would be evergreens added here on the high spot. And again, the hotel is 56 feet, not 60. But that's what the residents would see. But again, there's a lot of trees blocking that. As far as the comprehensive plan, it forecasts this area for commercial uses. This is the Houston-Donaldson study. It also forecasts this area for commercial uses. It also says that new development should be harmonious with the area. Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve this with these 5 conditions. Biggest ones was it's based on the concept plans that I showed you that required those extra evergreen trees to be planted in that rear buffer, some decorative furniture. There was some conditions about lighting, and we actually had some tweaks about that after we learned a little bit more about the lighting. So this passage in red down here was to clean up the lighting condition. That is all I have. So certainly.
Is there any discussion? Any questions for Todd? Gary, did you have anything you wanted to report from the committee?
No.
I guess I have a question.
Angie?
So you had stated trees were going to be planted to help offset the lighting.
Actually, the lighting and just the impact, so that when the trees lose their leaves, it would stop the neighbors from seeing through that tree line.
Okay, but planting trees, I mean, it takes years for them to get to full size. So is
Correct.
there anything that we can do to help in the meantime?
The trees are required to be 6 feet tall. Planting, like you said, it's going to take some time for them to grow. I mean, the one thing we could do, if council so chooses, is require those trees to be a little bit taller at planting versus normally 6 feet.
I'm just worried about the impact it's going to have on the residential area.
There is a little bit of a grade difference, so the 6 feet will seem like it's probably more like 15 feet, or like double.
Sure, and then the residents have been notified of this, correct?
Correct, and a couple spoke, and they, at the public hearing with the planning commission, one spoke about, lighting, which once again, the parking lot was purposely left out front. And I think, the lighting and just the visual impact, there was a couple neighbors that spoke.
Okay, and their issues were put at ease?
I don't know if they were totally satisfied, but once again, the planning commission did everything they could with making, and the developer as well, making sure the parking lot was up front.
Okay,
And there are lighting conditions as well.
I did
All the lighting
see
will be up front. That rear patio area is required to have either wall sconce lighting that's first floor level, or also that patio recessed lightings in there, which again are reflected in those conditions.
okay, thank you,
Condition number 3.
thank you.
Leslie, did you have something?
That was, she covered it.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. Is there any department heads that desire recognition? Anyone on council? Diane?
I had asked if you would mention the passing of one of our retired police officers.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yes, it was sad news that we received today that one of our former officers, he was a corporal, passed away this morning. It was Wayne Staggs. He started back in 1976 with us, did just right around 30 years. After he retired from us, he went and worked for the federal courthouse as a bailiff for nearly 20 years. And we found out today that he was having some health issues over Christmas, and today he passed away.
Thank you for that update, and our condolences to his family, friends. Anyone in the audience desire recognition? If not, there is a need for a closed session. It is KRS 61.8101F, appointment, discipline, or dismissal of personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Whalen? Mr. Nguyen? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Council will retreat to the caucus room and return here for adjournment.